you guys called, and I saw Rue, and Rue was like, "Hey, bad news," and I was like, "Oh, okay, great. It's great. I'm glad I went to bed. Fuck." Anyway,
Yeah.
how we doing? How? I mean, I know that's like, I know there's an obvious answer to that question.
So terrible, Ziggy.
What are we thinking?
Uh, I mean, to begin with, I was confused, like, to start off, and then it's kind of waned, and it's kind of just like a little bit of anger now, I guess.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Rightfully so.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I know. I don't want to be angry at Winston,
I think
though.
that's, yeah, a mixture of those two things for most everybody is uh completely justified, considering. I mean, at least with what Rude told me. Um,
I talk to this man every day. I texted him earlier today. He gave absolutely no indication that he was playing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I asked Rue, and
I'm
she
taking
didn't, she
screenshots.
didn't seem to know. But what the question was, had he talked to anybody about this, or had he expressed that he was feeling this way? And um, from what Rue told me, that he hadn't actually like mentioned much of anything.
He's told me a few issues that he had. They both seemed minor. I
Mm.
didn't think it would lead to this.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he felt that Barry didn't like him, and he felt that he was estranged from Solomon because of a conversation they had that went poorly. And instead of trying to fix things, I guess he just took this way out.
Tired. But yeah,
Mm.
that's fuck, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's a rough one.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fresh. For everyone. I mean, Faye's obviously going through her own shit. GT's going through this shit.
Okay.
Uh,
Um. Fuck. Yeah. It really is just like
I love Ziggy, bro.
out of the blue. I mean, for me anyway. Obviously, he's had something go on for a minute, but to not have said anything of like, or at the very least try to resolve it is, I mean, like, why? I I have an issue with not having closure, and this feels
No, he
like
did.
that.
And he did so much for me, and he helped me out so much. Like,
Mm.
we'd even actively made plans for him to talk
Yeah.
you with
Yeah.
me, and then he goes from that to with no. I didn't even get a fucking text message.
Yeah.
Just gonna let Faye talk.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
All very sudden and feels like it came out of the blue for everyone. I feel like
Yeah. Mm.
this is not the issue that we wanted to talk about today, but it is the most prevalent and pressing thing right now.
Hmm. Okay. Fuck. All right. It- I have so many questions, and I don't know where to fucking land.
Just hit me with them, man. Just hit me. I hate this. I hate therapy.
Hmm.
The only reason JT's actually doing this is because of Faye as well.
Do we know if, and I know Rue said that even if he did, she still considers him dead to her anyway. But do we know if he still draws breath?
I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, he's dead.
Hmm.
I know he was shot in the head and dumped in the ocean. Even if he survived that, as far as I'm concerned, he's dead.
Hmm.
Yeah. None of us, no one I've talked to has had like an emergency contact from any of the doctors or anything, so
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
think
couldn't say.
he might be the only one if he wiped his list, she'd still be on it, but I don't really want to talk to hers.
Yeah. Like,
Mm.
for all...
If she doesn't know, then telling her and her finding out from us, she'd put two and two together.
Yeah, most likely.
If he told anyone, he would have told her.
Yeah. Like
Told
for
who? Sorry.
Kiki.
Kiki, his sister.
I spoke to Kiki yesterday.
Oh.
She said that he had been doing, like, I asked her just sort of because I was planning on talking to him, you know, on his own.
Oh,
just at some point
shit.
as well, because I've sort of just been, you know, going around to everybody to see how everybody is doing, and I was trying to get something set up as well with him. So I figured, you know, if I wasn't able to see him, I know that, you know, Kiki spends time with him. I might as well go and talk to Kiki. And she said that there was a brief period, you know, like before he got blooded in, where he was, you know, sort of lost or whatever. And, but over the past couple of weeks, she told me, she was like, he's been doing, you know, a lot better, and he seems good. I mean, that was literally yesterday. So I maybe he wasn't telling her even. I don't know. I don't know. Ugh, fuck.
Yeah, it's, you know. Look, how do we even broach
That or
that?
she just didn't want to tell me, which, you know, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's between him and himself, really. That's the only
Yeah.
that's the only person that's ever gonna know why it happened the way it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Were you guys there when everything happened?
No,
No.
I decided to take the day off, and
Hmm.
it every it feels like all of this shit happens when I'm not there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I woke up this morning. I, you know, got a little bit of breakfast. You know, drove down into the city. You know, I get a phone call from you guys, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. I could go see Faye and JT. This is perfect. We're all awake.
Oh,
And then Rue was like,
Zigzag.
I was at City Hall, and she was like, hey, come here. We need to talk. And I was like, okay. So this is, yeah, it's all very fresh for me. Okay.
Yeah, it's. I wasn't there either. I was in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to take a day off as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But we're already planning to talk to you together before.
Yeah, no, I know. And I'd still like to do that, but you know, obviously with what has gone on, are you guys comfortable with that, or what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Totally okay if not. I know it's a lot that's gone on, but you know, if you do think that you're capable of doing it, then we can
There's
do it.
things
Totally up
JT
to
wants
you
to.
guys.
There's things JT wants to bring up with Ziggy. I would be fine with it, but it's up to yourself if you don't wanna.
And reality is life goes on.
Life does goes on, you know.
This conversation, if you're okay.
All right. I mean, we certainly can. I just, you know, I want to make sure this whole thing, you know, could skew opinions or points of view. That happens. So
Yeah.
if at any point either of you feels like maybe I'm not saying what I normally would, given,
Circumstances,
you know,
yeah.
if, you know, let's say things were, I wouldn't say normal, but at the very least settled down,
Yeah.
just point that out, and I have no issues, you know, just pausing it for the time being.
It's fair.
Okay.
GT wants to bring up
All right.
the fog thing with Ziggy
I've
alone.
sort of spoken to you both, at least briefly, about some things we could do in the meantime until we get more work done on either between each other or on one another alone.
Oh.
Regardless, I'll repeat it, which was, you guys obviously are,
Not a thing.
care for one another pretty intensely. You're spending a lot of time together. But that being said, you both have, you both have things going on with yourselves that makes you not only unsure of yourself in a relationship, it just makes you unsure of yourself, period, which in turn, it could make you unsure of yourself being connected with someone. And I think that while that is definitely valid because you don't want to hurt, the person that you could be potentially getting involved with or slash are involved with, it's also an opportunity to grow together. Is that the best option? I have no idea. This is a decision that you guys would make on your own. I'll pause.
Yellow.
Hey, what's your
Something
ping?
important.
125.
It's okay.
Just in case you don't hear back from me in 5 minutes.
No.
Are you guys fucking matching up?
Okay. Well, I'm currently talking to Ziggy, but if I don't hear back from you, I'll come up.
Yeah, come check on me. Alright, bye-bye.
All right. Sorry, that was rude.
You're good. You're good. Okay.
Is she alright?
Yeah,
E-
doing okay.
Yeah, I think she's just doing a jewelry run and wants to make sure that she doesn't get stabbed.
Oh.
So she will.
Alright.
She will call me back, hopefully.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah,
rude.
we'll
Oh
just,
god.
do a check-in at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So you both have things going on with yourselves separately that you want to work on, and you're afraid of getting involved with the other because you don't want to not be there in ways that you can't. However, like I said, and this may not be the best way to go about it, but there is just something for you to consider, an opportunity where if you both come to a mutual understanding between each other and recognize those areas you may be lacking understanding in, there is opportunity for growth there, potentially even growing together. Obviously, that is, that can be a scary thought because of the uncertainties that you both have. And it can be a very vulnerable place to put yourself in that position. So, again, if that is not something that you are comfortable with, then that is okay. But it does need to be communicated in that way. If that isn't something that you're comfortable with, then, sort of maintaining a respectful distance in a way is not a bad thing. Obviously, I see that is a little difficult for you too. But regardless, as long as you both in your own heads understand that, you know, it, we can, spend this time and we can have these feelings, but also there is work to be done. That needs to be an ever-present thought in both your minds. Otherwise, it could turn into something sour, which is, nobody wants that, right? Yeah. And also understanding that, there's not only work to be done with myself, but the other person is also doing work and being empathetic to how they're feeling or what they're thinking, etc. You will both likely make mistakes at some point. and that will happen. We are human beings, but trying to understand where the other is coming from will be an important part of either forgiving one another or just moving forward beyond it. If something happens where you feel like you cannot forgive the other person for it, then it just needs to be communicated. Say, hey, I think this is a breaking off point, you know, and do your best to harbor no ill will. Do your best to just amicably separate in that way. Um,
That's fair.
because at the end of the day, we do still have a lot more going on than just ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I've talked a lot. I want to hear y'all's feelings. I'm gonna go with JT first
Ooh.
because Faye, I've spoken to you a lot about everything the past couple of days, so I'm gonna have JT go first.
Okay. Like, what specifically would you like to know?
Just what you're thinking. What would you like to see happen? Like when you think about it,
Ziggy, that's
you
hard
think
for
about
Jason.
Faye here. What is it that you want exactly? What do you want from yourself?
What does JT
Do
want
you
from
want,
himself? This
a
is
proper relationship with her? If so, what would you want out of that? Just questions like that.
I guess I don't really know 100% what I want out of it. It's just like right now, and from the time I spent with Faye, I just like the feeling of. JT's gonna struggle to word this correctly. I guess I just like the feeling of. I don't know the right word. But that like closeness with someone where I can feel I can be open with how I feel.
Intimacy.
I guess, yeah, intimacy would work.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that I have a fear of becoming too committed to someone and becoming sort of like putting a title on it, if that makes sense. I feel for me, putting a title on things sometimes can it can kind of fuck with my head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it should make things clearer for like both of us, I feel like I struggle with the idea of when there's something official, my mind automatically starts going towards self-sabotaging, and that's what I've had in the past with other relationships that I wouldn't want to happen here, is that in those past relationships I'm looking for a way out before anything sort of like even begins, really, where I panic and I'm like, fuck, I maybe feel trapped, even if like with Fate it's different because I when I'm hanging out with other people, it feels like when I talk, the other person is almost just waiting for their turn to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm talking to Faye, it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
It feels very natural for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Where do you think that stems from? The self-sabotaging whenever you do actually, decide to commit to somebody.
I'm not 100% sure where it stems from, but I feel like it's a sort of cause of I like things, staying kind of like upbeat. I like things staying sort of like keeping moving and then not staying still and not stagnating in a way. Where I don't want it to become this strange relationship of like there is no love between us, but we're staying together for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than I actually quite like this person, and we're together for the reason that we genuinely like each other.
If I can, and I think that you probably know this, but I'm just going to state it if that's okay. Are you comfortable with me talking about your parents and whatnot?
Yeah, sure. I've mentioned it briefly to Faye before, but yeah.
Okay. And like I said, I think you already know this, but it would seem that your parents and the relationship that they had, you have a sort of deep-rooted fear of becoming that because you saw how loveless and empty that was. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, I feel like that's where it kind of comes from. Yeah, it's I don't want to replicate what's happened.
Yeah. Okay, and that's fair. Could you, I mean, we all have things that we share with our parents that is just an unfortunate truth about ourselves as much as, we hate it. What would you say, well, the inverse of that, what would you say is different about you in that way? How are you trying to make sure that you are not going to become, who they were or what they were?
Communication, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
With past partners and people that I've, had some like semi relationships with and stuff, I haven't really tried to communicate my own feelings and how I feel about that person, or in general how they make me feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to make an effort on my part to go out of my way to tell Faye how I feel and how I enjoy spending time with her, and I enjoy. It doesn't really matter to me what we do, as long as it's together, and I that sort of thing. Because communication, as you know, is something that was lacking in my parents' relationship, and they only, all they cared about was just, they didn't really care about anything. They just sort of stayed together because we have kids. There's we shouldn't divorce or whatever.
Okay. And when you think about spending time with Faye here, and I mean that is, I mean what you're feeling, and the good times that you are having, you feel as if let me rephrase.
I really like Ziggy.
Okay, so
He's
you
very good.
are actively making efforts to be, different and to avoid being in a situation that you saw as an observer from when you were a kid. Obviously, that has affected you in various ways, but now when you spend time with Faye, are you looking to maybe are you wanting to do the work to get beyond the commitment issues that you have, to try and see if you can properly and really put yourself towards being in a relationship with her?
I'm trying. Yeah, I. For me, it's a case of, I wouldn't be trying to talk to you about my issues if I didn't want to get past them for either her and myself, really, because
Right.
I don't want to get wrapped up in my own thing without being able to help out. Like yes, I would say yeah, I'm trying to. It's just I'm reminding myself to not self-sabotage, and I'm reminding myself that this situation isn't like those other situations. If that makes sense.
Well, I mean, just just like you said there, that is you are making steps toward being better about a situation like that, whether and I think that that is both in turn for yourself because that's something that you're wanting, but also for you know um, Faye,
Mhm.
which both should both can be very good motivators, but regardless, you are making active progress towards what you feel is better, which is you should be proud of that. That being said, uh, let me think here a moment.
JT's internally panicking right now, and I'm not gonna roll for it because I don't need to roll for it. The JT's had a very fucking shit day.
Faye, if you could just for the time being, what are your thoughts or feeling right now? What do you think?
JT doesn't even know what he wants out of this relationship. If
I
it's
don't know. I was just thinking about the things that he's saying and wondering what I've been doing for my own issues. And I don't know, like, I'm trying to talk to him and let him know when concerns are coming up. Like I told him earlier about the two people that I've kind of been closest to since I came back to the city.
Sean and Winston. Yeah.
Sean and Winston, I feel like Sean's been pulling away. And then Winston, did what he did, and I was just worried about getting close to him or, anyone really in that. It would just keep happening. But I know that's irrational. And I'm trying to keep reminding myself that it's not all of these thoughts and fears that I have are rational. And I'm also trying to just kind of one of my issues I have is I'm never really sure what I'm feeling at any given time. It's hard for me to figure that out sometimes, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm not just spending time with him because he likes me and then it's mutual, 'Cause I kind of had a bad habit of doing that in the past. If someone liked me, regardless of how I felt about them, I would, be with them until I got bored or whatever. And I don't want to be like that. I especially don't want to do that to someone like JT or anyone in the club. I'm just trying to make sure that that's not what's happening.
Okay. All right. So, with the first part that you said, you being afraid of, getting close with someone and then distancing themselves. That is understandable. I wouldn't say that's irrational. With things that have occurred. I mean, even just literally last night, it is understandable for you to have that thought in your head. Um, and it but that being said, that doesn't mean that is
He does
always
want to
going
call
to be the
back
case.
Solomon, but at the same time, he wants to focus on this
and even
issue.
if it is the case, these are things that are unfortunately outside of our control. Of course, it hurts and it puts us in vulnerable positions. But it is just something that we have to handle, and obviously that takes time and that's its own process, etc. But with time it will be okay. Even with everything that's gone on the past couple of days, I know that that's or just 24 hours even. I know that that's a distant prospect at the moment, but regardless, whatever, the sentiment is there. Okay. So and you said you have a difficult time understanding how you may be truly feeling. Um, so it's good that you're reminding yourself, by the way, that when you're in these situations, you know, to you're just reminding yourself of what is good for you, what feels good for you, etc. That is a lot of progress. Um, Regardless, in that same vein, um, when a question I could ask is when you're with JT or whenever you guys are doing this, that, or the other, spending time together, um, do you feel, do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel happy?
Oh,
I
God.
suppose are some good, feelings
Such a
to lock
poignant,
onto.
such a poignant question.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
That's what I'm saying.
when, hmm. Okay.
See, the thing,
So
I need to be
if that
like
is the
you
case, is that when you
to say
think
any more
about,
slash
the
me's.
time that you have spent and the feelings that you've had while spending that time together, are those things that you want to continue to have happen? Obviously, it's a scary thought because, situations change and there's potential for it to change. A better question.
Mm.
sh- Say a difficult situation arises. Maybe you guys have a disagreement, or maybe JT, does what he said he might earlier, and self sabotage or distance himself. Do you think you'd be able to recognize that and try to empathize with him, or do you feel you may internalize it and maybe pull away yourself?
I don't. Honestly, I don't know. I don't take rejection very
Hmm.
well.
Okay.
And if he starts pulling away like some other people have in the past, I don't know how I'd react to it, because a lot of times I feel like if someone's pulling away and I try to pull back, then they'll just pull away faster, and
Hmm.
I don't know.
I guess
Okay.
that's a lot of trauma, not trauma, but like,
Now,
interesting.
in turn, JT, um, do you think, let's say, you find yourself in a situation where you may have pulled away from Faye a little bit, and she tries to, amend, or tries to, makes that effort to really, to settle things. Do you think that you would continue that behavior, or do you think, how would you go about handling it?
Um, I guess it's hard to answer
Hmm.
because I'm not 100% sure. I know what I would like to, how I would like to react and how I'd like to go about it, but
Hmm.
I guess I'm struggling to come to fully understand how I would react.
Hmm.
I would like to, if I was pulling away and she maybe came to me to address that issue. I would hope that I would recognize it and
Hmm.
address the issue rather than sort of let it fester, because that's what I do with other things. I want to, I'll address other issues. I guess when it comes down to that, I don't think I could fully answer it just because I'm not 100% sure.
Hmm.
I would like to deal with the issue and then go from there,
Hmm.
and I would
Okay.
hope I would be able to.
Okay. Um, Well, that, even that, and recognizing that is, that's really important. Will it happen? Of course, it's difficult to answer at this point.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Uh, so sounds like, let's say, just hypothetically speaking, you guys do get like properly, fully involved.
Together.
Um,
Well,
and
together,
difficult
I guess.
situations arise, either outside
Oh, my
circumstances or even
chair.
between one another. um it both sounds like at the moment, um you're sort of unsure of how exactly you react, which is totally okay. We're figuring things out, that's fine. um so I think, um at least for the time being, what we can do moving forward, while you both are working on yourselves separately. I mean, you could even work on yourselves together. That I'm not barring you from that. But um, you know, they, eh, I would say that it's still good to sort of understand where you're both coming from. Let's say, Faye, JT may seem off one day. It would be on you to make sure that you're not um, taking it too personally. Obviously, he's got things going on now. The inverse,
Yeah, that's
in the exact
totally gonna
things that
work.
he said for you, JP. Faye's got things that she's thinking about and working on, and maybe she's a little bit more distant, etc. And I know you both understand that concept, but it's going to be important to not take it personally sometimes. And I know that's a difficult thing. We're human beings. We have feelings. You care about this person. So I'm not saying that it won't happen, because it might.
Probably will.
But
Yep.
to reassure yourself is going to be something really important in the midst of all of this.
So you got a
It's going to
pen?
have to
It
be a
sounds like
constant thought in the back of both of your heads. Hey, I'm working on stuff. They're working on stuff. Shit is not always going to be as it should be, and that's okay. Now, in terms of being together and being in a relationship, if you're both unsure of how you're going to be in said relationship, or even if you want said relationship, if you are still unsure about those answers, then what you can do is, I'm not saying don't spend time together, because you can be, physical, intimate, whatever you want, but it's keeping that sort of, just understanding. I keep saying distance, and I don't necessarily mean that. It's more so an understanding that, hey, this is really nice right now, but we both have work to do.
Glad Ziggy's got his
And
baps out for this.
That situation in and of itself is okay, so long as you both understand that. And I think we could, move forward with that, just working on one another. Okay, I said a lot. That was a lot to think about. This is Rue calling, so I'm gonna answer and make sure she's okay. Hi, Rue. Are you okay? You may have what? You may have just killed someone. What? Did you hit someone with your car? What the fuck, Rue? You were trying to blow shit up. You told the guy to kick a fucking a barrel.
What the fuck is he talking about? What's going on?
Okay, so he kicked the barrel, the top came off, a spark ignited it, and he's fucked? Okay. Did you think about calling an ambulance, Rue? Okay. Do you need help? Okay, that's good. If he's wheezing, he's breathing. Yeah, that is likely the case. Okay.
Giddy, if
where
you're
are you?
fucking terrible for each other. They're so bad for each other.
Alright, you're in Sandy.
Holy fuck.
Alright. Jesus Christ. Okay. Rue, do you need help? Jeez. Okay. That's good. Noises means he's breathing. That's good.
They're so horrible.
Are you okay? Do you need help? Slap him around if you have to. Yeah. Rue, do you need help? Okay. Okay, good. Alright. Okay, is everything going okay with the run aside from this? Okay, stop trying to blow things up. Okay, alright, I gotta let you go, Rue. Are you okay? Okay. Yes. Oh, him. Okay, just, yay, I don't know. Do something to wake him up. Yell at him, slap him, shake him, spit on him, I don't know.
What is this? What is Ziggy's advice here? What is happening?
Nice, perfect. Not your responsibility anymore. No, don't kick him. You could paralyze him.
What the fuck is going
Jesus
on?
Christ.
What a fucking...
He kicked it, right? Not you? Oh my God, Root, did he kicked it, right? You didn't kick it? Perfect.
The fact I
There
can
you
only hear
go.
one side of
That's
this
his own
conversation.
decision. You're okay, Root. Don't worry. Okay. Just get out of there. Just get out of there. Just go. Just go. That's right. Get home for dinner. Listen, he kicked it himself, okay? You didn't
Feed
kill
you
him,
to your
he
such
did.
children. Like, what are we doing? What are they doing?
Yeah, probably. It's fine. You have a good attorney. Don't worry. You'll be fine, Rue. Okay, everything's fine. Yeah, maybe double check.
Stop poking
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.
Fine.
Okay. Sorry about that. That's
No,
Yeah, no worries.
yeah. Rue convinced some guy to kick an explosive barrel.
Oh.
He might be dead.
L.
Yeah, that's a... Yeah.
Anyhow, okay. How are you two feeling?
Yeah. Alright, I suppose.
Okay, that's good. Faye, what about you?
Put this hat back on.
Are we all, on the same relative page on what we're doing, how we're moving forward?
Sorry, what are we doing?
Okay, that's all right. You guys can spend time together. You could be physical. You could be intimate, so long as you both understand. You have
Ziggy,
things going on separately, and if a difficult situation arises between each other, just be understanding that he's got something going on, I got something going on, so on and so forth.
Right.
And again, just have that
Oh,
reassurance
Ziggy, right.
both with yourself, and maybe you can even reassure the other if you are capable of doing so. Just say, hey, we will figure this out, and if we don't figure it out in what we feel would be an okay amount of time, that is also okay. That's sometimes things just don't work. I'm not saying that that's not that is the case here, but that is just a reality of things, and coming to that understanding could also be healthy.
I think
for
he's
the
got
both
his
of you.
fucking... he's just chest out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just you take a little bit of time to figure out what we're doing, and that's okay. You guys can still spend time, be close, just have that understanding and remind yourself. I think that is the gist of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go to the fucking gym and try and not think about
Yeah.
today.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, you two be safe. Okay, don't I don't know. Don't be inside each other too long. Okay, bye.
Too long.
Wow!
All right, see you later.
Jesus.
Saw your husband again.
Oh, is he still bald?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still bald. He said your hands are too small to palm his head.
That's not true. I have giant hands. What the fuck?
He has giant.
I don't know, tell him that.
He's so full of shit. Okay, bye.
Bye. Too long.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel like it was relatively productive. How do you feel?
Okay. Look at my phone for some reason, which is mildly concerning, but probably just that effect of City being full of scuff.
LPOV. I can look at my phone. Solomon phoned me during that, so I need to follow him, but I guess I'm playing.
D511. I need to talk to Solomon too. Just real quick. I found something interesting in the remedy case.
Interesting.
I'll let you call him first. If you want to.